With me, Poonam Burde. The story we are focusing at this hour comes from Australia, but it affects the Indian community there because the Indian Consulate in Brisbane was forced to shut down temporarily. Why? Because there was a group of Khalistani supporters that stood right outside the gate of the consulate. They raised slogans against the country, against the Hindu community, and blocked the entry to the consulate. They raised slogans, pro-Khalistani ones at that. This happens days after the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's assurance to India that all of such anti-India elements in his country will be looked into, will be brought to task. Now, according to Australian media, slogans were raised against Hindus who were called supremacists by the pro-Khalistani movements right outside the consulate. This is located on the Swan Road in the Taringa suburb of Brisbane. The Queensland police said that this was an unauthorized gathering and they will be taking action in all of these cases. Remember, this is not the only one. Because last month, Khalistani flags were found attached to the Indian consulate in Brisbane, just days after External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's visit to Australia. That's not all. Earlier this year, we've seen several Hindu temples in Australia that were witnessing a spurt in vandalism attacks, all by Khalistani elements. The walls of these temples were defaced with anti-India slogans and graffiti. The Indian community in Australia said that they're angry, they're scared, as they should be. They're dismayed by this blatant display of religious hatred towards a peaceful community. We've had assurances come to the fore from all quarters, right from the Prime Minister of Australia as well. But unfortunately, nothing changes on ground. And I want to bring in a comparison of two instances that have taken place within the span of 1 month, and the target has been one. The Indian consulate, the temporary consulate there that we see in Brisbane. The first attempt at this happened on the 21st of February, and this one, of course, is from today. Khalistani sympathizers targeted the Indian consulate back in February. Today as well, you saw anti-Hindu slogans, anti-India slogans that were raised outside the consulate. Back in February, we saw a Khalistani flag that was hoisted at the consulate premises. In fact, it happened in the dead of the night. So the next morning, when the Consul General was in her office, that's when she saw this, raised a red flag, and the police came in. Today as well, what we saw was a bus full of Khalistani sympathizers that stopped right in front of the gate of the Indian consulate. They raised these slogans, they had flags in their hands, and they blocked the entry to that consulate, forcing a temporary shutdown. So what exactly is happening? Because these are not just individuals that are being attacked anymore. These are institutions. It's a government-run institution. It's a consulate of a country that seems to be under siege. Editor of the Australia Today, Jitat Rai Bharadwaj, is joining me on this broadcast. Dr. Monica Verma will also be joining us shortly. But Jitat Bharadwaj, I want to get you in and ask you. There are several assurances that are coming to the fore from the Australian government, from the High Commissioner here in India, but nothing seems to change. Why is that?
This is very unfortunate. That's what I can say, that despite that assurance from Prime Minister of Australia, on ground, we don't see much change. Today also, they left Khalistani goons to kind of control the whole premises where Indian consulate is situated. And in a way, technically, it was a trespass done by Khalistan supporters, and police could book them and ask them to move on. However, they didn't do so. They let the Khalistan supporters control the whole premises. They were standing right in front of the doors and didn't let anybody to come in or go out. A couple of people inquired, and police quietly told them to move away from the where all this ruckus was happening. So this is kind of very unfortunate. SEO officers, AFP officers, and the local Queensland police officers were present there. Despite that, they were kind of trying to manage the situation. Imagine if this would have happened in Delhi in front of any of the consulate or High Commission of Australia or UK or America. I think newspapers will be filled with those pictures, and everyone will be writing about that India is not able to kind of control their people and secure the premises. Here in Australia, Consulate of India is actually India, and when they control that place, when they force the consulate to shut down, it is actually a direct attack on the might of government of India. That's what we can say how it is played out in media, in people's mind. Now, reflection on Australian authorities, yes, they should be ashamed of what has happened today. That's what I can say right now.
Right, and that's the most unfortunate bit, like you've been pointing out, Mr. Bharadwaj. Do stay on with me. Monica Verma also joins us on this broadcast, but I want to get in a word from my colleague Siddhant first. And I believe we do not have that line with Siddhant, but we'll try and connect with him. And Monica Verma, like we've been discussing, these attacks have been happening. We've seen the kind of provocations that have come to the fore from these pro-Khalistani members, especially in the last 2 or 3 months. It's not just this. We've had several temples across Australia that have been vandalized with anti-India, anti-Hindu graffiti. We've had several of these referendums that have been held in Australia as well. So there definitely seems to be lack of political will there to do something about it.
Absolutely. In fact, today's attack was a very unfortunate attack. And one thing that we need to remember here is that the gathering that took place in front of the consulate was something that for which they did not have a permission. So it was an unauthorized one. And we have heard about, such cases taking place in some smaller country which are not diplomatically important. But this taking place in a very developed country like Australia, this is absolutely shocking to say because, they did not have the permission and still they were able to breach the security apparatus, reach there and, block such an important consulate. Because, right now, if you look at relations between India and Australia, I think they are going, they're really going, strong. So just last week, the Australian Prime Minister was in our country and even there, India had brought this issue to Australian attention that, the kind of attacks that are taking place on the Hindu temples. And now this attack on the consulate is something very unfortunate. And Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister, he promised that he would go back home and he would look at why these things are taking place. And in fact, after he reached Australia back, he also issued a statement. There's a video where he's talking about how, the Khalistanis cannot do what they're doing. But ultimately, one thing that we need to clearly point out here is this, that there are certain international forces who are absolutely hating the way India-Australia ties are shaping up. And these forces have a lot to do with ISI and Pakistan. So they have a problem with, India and Australia being together and they, sharing such a good relationship under Quad and, their common vision on the Indo-Pacific, their bilateral relationship going really strong. So obviously, Pakistan and one another country, we know the name of that country as well, China. Definitely, till now we were only focusing on Pakistan and saying ISI has got deeper designs in Khalistan. But now I'm 100% sure and I can go on record to say that this definitely has to do with China as well because they are not
absolutely,
able to...
and that unholy nexus between China and Pakistan and the ISI and Khalistani sympathizers is a known fact. Do stay on with me because Abhishek, my colleague, also joining us on this broadcast. Abhishek, the recent instance has come to the fore. We've seen time and again India has at the highest levels raised concerns. Even the Prime Minister, when he spoke to his Australian counterpart while he was on his visit here to the national capital, did raise this issue up. So at the highest level, India has raised this issue with Australia. In this latest incident, have we had any reaction come to the fore from the MEA?
So far, none. But we know that in these incidents, it has the frequency of such incidents have increased in the past few weeks or few months, if we can say, in Australia. So clearly, the government has established a mechanism where the high-level committee from both the sides will be in regular touch to know about the situation, to know about the attacks and the action taken by the Australian side. In a rare case, when Prime Minister Modi was having a joint press event with Australian Prime Minister Albanese, who was recently visiting India, it was rare that the Prime Minister in the press conference itself said that he has seen such reports coming from Australia where Hindu temples are coming under attack. And this is a regrettable thing, and this clearly ruptures the strong people-to-people tie or the community harmony that Australia has. And Australian Prime Minister and the Australian senior officials have in past also expressed their regret on such incidences, and they have said that freedom of speech or freedom of expression cannot cover the violence, hatred, or any vandalism in the name of freedom of speech against any community in Australia.
Right, do keep a track of whether the MEA does respond. But for the moment, Abhishek, thank you so much for getting the latest on that. And Jitat Bharadwaj and Monica Verma continue to be with us on this broadcast. And Mr. Bharadwaj, I just want to put this in perspective for our viewers and to get in more information from your side as well, because you've been living there. You know exactly how this has been panning out over the last couple of months. But has there been any action that has been taken? Have any arrests been made over the repeated instances of vandalism of temples that we had seen? Because every time that happened, we had a mayor or we had the High Commissioner come out and condemn the instance. Assurances were given. But was it limited just to words? Because we didn't see any action in terms of arrests or anything of that sort.
See, I haven't seen any. We have been repeatedly asking Victorian police and the Queensland police whether they have taken any strict action, whether anybody has been identified. They haven't identified even the single person in 7 incidents of temple vandalism or threatening temple authorities. So let's talk about violence which happened on Federation Square in Melbourne. We have video proofs and multiple victims and the witness have provided those videos to Victoria Police. However, Victoria Police has failed to take any action against any person who was involved in that violence. So that's the situation here. And why they are doing so, let's go back few months. In November last year was Victoria's election, a state level election. And in those elections, we are told, we are given to understand a number of these Khalistan supporters have worked for either the present government in Victoria or their legislators, or they have provided money power to them. Muscle and money power has been provided in the election, and in the return now, after a few months, these government officials, ministers, or per se authorities are turning their eyes away from what is happening in middle of the city. So it's a kind of a plight that we are seeing same incidents, same pattern which has happened in Canada, that politicians take support from these groups, multicultural groups, and in return they let them do whatever they feel like, and which is very unfortunate. Now let me give you some idea what has happened in Brisbane and why it has happened. For last several days, we have been receiving, like the Honorary Council and Indian High Commissioner has been receiving threats from these Khalistan supporters. They have been making pamphlets, posters, and videos in which, unfortunately, my team, their pictures, my picture is there, and they are calling us a Hindu offsprings of genocide enablers, as if we were responsible for whatever has happened in last 150 years in India. So that's what they are calling, and they are putting a target on our backs in terms of calling their supporters to target us in different ways. And this Pannu guy from USA is gesturing like a gun so that his supporters or followers could understand what they need to do. And which is very unfortunate. In a country like Australia, if journalists are threatened like that, nothing can be more unfortunate in terms of Prime Minister or the authorities who propagate that we are a country of free speech, we have a country of free press. This is what is happening right now.
And that's the most unfortunate bit, because like I said, all we see is empty assurances that come to the fore. And that's not just Australia. Like Jitat Bharadwaj is also pointing out, Monica Verma, we've seen such kind of referendums, such kind of provocations come to the fore from other parts of the world as well, including in Canada and United Kingdom.
Actually, they are making full utilization of the mechanisms that are available in any liberal democratic society. Where, if people have got certain sort of problems, they can always hold protests, maybe they can hold referendums. So I think they have understood, the way the system could be molded, the way the system can be modified to their benefit. And by using the freedom of speech, which is readily available in such societies, whether it is Canada or it is Australia, they have been able to penetrate the civil society. And, if you look at the attacks that have taken place on the temples, and there was a car rally, I think, in Melbourne, where the Gurudwara, which was responsible for this car rally, was also getting funding from the Australian government. And obviously, the government would not be aware that, these are certain anti-India elements, or they are the Khalistanis. And that is how, they are playing this card. And they have been able to create this false parity between the Hindutva, the plant and the Khalistani problem. So this anti-India tirade that they have launched and this entire campaign that they have created, they are now using it to say that, Hindus are being violent with us, Hindus are treating us badly. So if you juxtapose the attacks that are taking place on Hindus, whether it's in UK or in Canada or in Australia, and the Khalistani cause, they have been able to successfully drive home the point that Sikhs are a minority which are persecuted in India, and this is absolutely far from reality. I mean, come to India and then see what are the Sikhs doing. They are one of the most privileged communities in India. They are the richest. If you look at their households, I think 49% of them enjoy a lifestyle that Indians can only dream of. They come in the upper middle class. So I think this movement has got no ground support in India, because we know how the Sikhs have been, able to put the past behind them, the 1984, unfortunate incidents of 1984 behind them, and they have been able to get successful, and that's India for you.
Yes.
That's India's liberal democratic model for you. But now
absolutely, it's clearly a rattled movement that's trying to gain momentum, but their desperation, which is pretty evident in most parts of the world, in Australia as well, that is not something that's not going to have any effect. That's something that India has made very, very clear. That message has been sent loud and clear to the world. But as far as these instances go and these provocations go, we do hope that Australia and all the other countries where we see that it's not just mere words, but it's also action that follows. I thank you both for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective. We're shifting focus now to news back home here, and ruckus took place in the national capital on two fronts. First, the opposition marched towards the ED office as a mark of protest. They alleged that there is misuse of central agencies by the central government here. They sought a probe on the Adani issue. But the opposition is divided on this front, because even as we saw several parties put up a united front, the TMC and the BRS refused to take part. They said that Congress is hand in glove with the BJP. They say that yes, we agree with them, we want to corner the government, but will not do so under the banner of the Congress party. The BRS too came out and said that Congress is no glue like they claimed to be as far as the united opposition is concerned. The parties returned to the parliament as the police requested them to stop their protest. It was a request that was made because this is a high security zone, but the opposition cried foul. They said that the BJP, via the Delhi police, was trying to stall their march. On the other front, there was ruckus that continued inside both houses of parliament, both in Lok Sabha and in Rajya Sabha, where uproar was witnessed over Rahul Gandhi's remarks that he made in the United Kingdom. The BJP not relenting, demanding an apology from Rahul Gandhi on the floor of the House. Both houses eventually were adjourned until tomorrow after the ruckus.
Rahul Gandhi, instead of coming to Parliament and apologizing for his undemocratic rant against India.
माफी का सवाल नहीं, और हम पूछेंगे उनको, आपने इतने कंट्रीज में जाके बात की, वो भी यहाँ के लोगों के कल्चर को और इंसानियत को अपमान किया। अदानी के घोटाले के मामले में मेमोरेंडम देने के लिए वहाँ डायरेक्टर से मिलने जा रहे हैं। सरकार हमको विजय चौक के पास भी नहीं जाने दे रही और रोक लिए है। लाखों रुपए का घोटाला हुआ है, LIC बर्बाद हो गई है, स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया और दूसरे बैंक्स भी बर्बाद हो गए हैं। जो लोग अपने पैसे बैंक में रखते विश्वास के साथ और सरकार के भरोसे वो पैसा सारे एक व्यक्ति को देकर उसको सरकार की संपत्ति खरीदने के लिए ये प्रोत्साहन सरकार कर रही है और मोदी जी ऐसे लोगों को प्रोत्साहन दे रहे हैं। देयर शुड बी एन इंक्वायरी एंड इंक्वायरी शुड बी हेल्ड एंड व्हाट इज द रिलेशन बिटवीन प्राइम मिनिस्टर एंड Adani ji.
Is exactly statements. Our mics are not older; they are functioning. You will still can't switch them on. This is the height of insult. This is the height of insult to the Indian institution, that is to the Parliament, and it is casting aspersions on the chair. But instead of having apology, they are trying to say that whatever we said, that itself is right. झूठ को सत्य करके पेश करने के लिए हर एक दिन नया झूठ को सामने ला रहा है और it is unfortunate that baseless allegation, especially against the Parliament and its chairpersons.
Senior editor Pallavi Ghosh now joining me on this broadcast. Pallavi, we've seen a complete washout in both houses of parliament for 3 days now. Slogans have been raised from treasury benches where an apology is being demanded from Rahul Gandhi. And even as the Congress is left here defending Rahul Gandhi, who've come out and vehemently said that there is no question of an apology, many are asking, where is Rahul Gandhi?
Yes, today is day 3 and Rahul Gandhi is believed to have arrived back from his UK tour early this morning. And there were preparations which were being made for Rahul Gandhi to be a part of the opposition march. They did not turn up. He didn't come for the march. He hasn't even come to parliament as yet. And this is an opportunity which is being seized by the BJP, which is why yesterday Mr. Anurag Thakur, today Smriti Irani, both of them made the point that if parliamentary democracy matters to you so much and mics allegedly being switched off is such a big issue for you, the first thing you really need to do is to attend parliament. Apart from this, the government already has put out a sequence of events and statistics to show that his performance inside Parliament in terms of attendance and asking questions is very poor.
Right, so the fireworks are going to continue in the days to come. The opposition is unrelenting as far as the Adani issue goes, and the government is keeping the pressure as far as Rahul Gandhi and his comments go. We'll keep a track of that and much more here on CNN News 18. For now, a quick break.
Major skirmishes happening in Black Sea. In one of them, one of the largest naval assets, Moscow of Russia, was drowned. We know the Black Sea is currently being used for grain export from Russia and Ukraine to the other parts of the world. So these are the times when the world will also not like to see any escalation of tension over Black Sea because of various geopolitical and food crisis region. And we'll have to see from here on what explanation or what is the stand of Russia on the whole issue and how to see it further.
Also being joined by our guest, Mr. Pathikrit Payne, who is a security analyst. Mr. Payne, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. What we want to know is what your take is on this entire incident that's unfolding between the United States and Russia over the Black Sea.
First of all, the whole conflict that is going on between Ukraine and Russia, apart from the expansion of NATO, one of the key objectives has always been for Russia to control Black Sea. So whatever is happening now, dominance of the Black Sea is very important because that gives access to Russia to Mediterranean Sea. And number two, a very important point is this, the manner in which the Ukraine-Russia conflict has unfolded over the last 1 year, the manner in which the Western countries led by United States and Western Europe through NATO has been supplying weapons to Ukraine, the manner in which United States have been increasing its surveillance in the Black Sea and other areas, the manner in which U.S. weapon systems are being deployed by Ukraine. Someday or the other, these incidents would have happened. It was inevitable that someday such kind of clash would happen. I don't think it was an accident. It was a warning by Russia that if you cross the limits, there are Rubicons, which if you cross, then there will be consequences, there will be action, and this is the outcome. Now, when you have a Black Sea region where, United States literally has nothing to do in that region, when you have an MQ-9, unmanned vehicle, which has very strong surveillance capacities, and even they are armed to a great extent, when that kind of a thing is moving around in Black Sea in the vicinity of Russia, there would be reaction. Whether the reaction is justified or not, that's another issue. But I think United States would have reacted and would react the very same way if in the coastal areas of United States, Russian drones loiter around. So the reality is this: today, as things happen are unfolding in that region, and the manner in which West keeps on fueling the war, a situation might arise where the conflict would move beyond the contours of Ukraine and Russia and would have a spillover effect either on the seas or in the land area of other European countries, and it would be an apocalypse waiting to happen, which will be beyond the control of United States. So I think it's better to stop it right now, what is happening. Otherwise, 2023 will be a very bad affair when it comes to conflicts of the world.
A United States Reaper drone and 2 Russian Su-27 aircraft were flying in international waters over the Black Sea when, according to the United States military, one of the Russian jets flew in front of and dumped fuel on the unmanned drone. Now, the aircraft then reportedly hit the propeller of the drone, prompting U.S. forces to bring down the MQ-9 drone down in international waters, that is the Black Sea, remember. Now, the collision took place shortly after 7 a.m. Central European time on Tuesday, which is roughly 11:30 a.m. India time. Now, the incident marks the first time that Russian and U.S. military aircraft have come into direct physical contact since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine just over a year ago, and is likely to increase tensions between the two nations.
What we saw, again, were fighter aircraft dumping fuel in front of this UAV, and then getting so close to the aircraft that it actually damaged the propeller on the MQ-9. We assess that it likely caused some damage to the Russian aircraft as well. The Russian aircraft did land. I'm not going to go into where they landed. But again, it's just demonstrative of very unprofessional, unsafe airmanship on the part of these pilots. Because of the damage, we were in a position to have to essentially crash it into the Black Sea. To my knowledge, at this point in time, the Russians have not recovered that aircraft.
About this aerial unmanned vehicle, this drone can carry 1,700 kilos of explosives. This drone can carry a few bombs. You see that what will be reaction of United States if you see such Russian drone very close, for example, to San Francisco or New York? What will be reaction of United States? For me, it's clear. We don't want any confrontation between the United States and Russian Federation. We are in favor of pragmatic relations for the interest of the people of the United States and Russian Federation.
The President was briefed by the National Security Advisor about this incident earlier this morning. It is not uncommon, Amr, for there to be intercepts by Russian aircraft of U.S. aircraft over the Black Sea. So this is not an uncommon occurrence. And there have been, even in just in recent weeks, there have been other intercepts. But this one obviously is noteworthy because of how unsafe and unprofessional it was, indeed reckless that it was, and causing the downing of one of our aircraft. So it's unique in that regard.
We have engaged at high levels with our allies and partners in the first instance to brief them on this incident and to let them know what we know just about as soon as we were learning of the details. We are engaging directly with the Russians, again at senior levels, to convey our strong objections to this unsafe, unprofessional intercept which caused the downing of the unmanned U.S. aircraft. As to the particulars, we are summoning the Russian ambassador to the department where we will convey this message. In Moscow, meanwhile, Ambassador Tracy has conveyed a strong message to the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
U.S. surveillance drone was brought down by 2 Russian Sukhoi 27 jets. The U.S. says that the surveillance aircraft, an MQ-9 Reaper as it was called, a large aircraft with sophisticated systems on board, it has a 20-meter wingspan, really a very complex system of surveillance. But this was brought down by the Russian jets as it was operating in international airspace. And
welcome back. There's massive showdown that's taking place in Pakistan over an imminent arrest of former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. PTI chief has got interim relief from the courts there. The Lahore High Court has directed the police to stop operations at Zaman Park, which is his residence, until tomorrow morning. But according to sources, the Islamabad High Court has reserved its verdict on Khan's plea, seeking the suspension of the arrest warrant in the Toshakhana case. Now remember, Imran Khan's legal trouble is never ending. There are several cases that he faces. His legal team has submitted 4 pleas in the Lahore High Court in 4 different cases. But the drama continues to unfold in Pakistan, in Lahore, outside his residence. As police lathi charged PTI workers, they fired tear gas shells in the air after Imran Khan's supporters pelted stones at them. Imran Khan also released a video where he called on his supporters to continue their fight for their rights, even if he was jailed or killed.
मैं फिर से आपको कहना चाहता हूं, मैं पकड़ा जाऊं, जेल में भी चला जाऊं, जो भी मुझे हो जाए, आपने ये जो हकीकी आज़ादी की हमारी तहरीक है, आपने सब ने इसमें शिरकत करनी है, क्योंकि गुलाम कौम का कोई मुस्तकबिल नहीं होता। ये जो एक छोटा सा तबका ऊपर हावी हुआ है, कानून के वो ऊपर बैठा है, हर किस्म का जुल्म करता है लोगों पे, खौफ के ऊपर मुल्क चलाता है, सारे मुल्क के वसाइल के ऊपर कब्जा करके बैठा हुआ है, यहां से पैसा चोरी करता है, हुंडी वाले से बाहर भिजवा देता है। इसलिए मैं कौम को आज कह रहा हूं कि आपने पूरी तरह इस हकीकी आजादी की जहाद में शिरकत करनी है।
News coming in now, and the IG of Gilgit-Baltistan has been removed from his position for not pulling the police troops from Zaman Park. That's the information that we are gathering. It seems to be a catch-22 situation for the police there, for the administration in Pakistan. Shalinder, my colleague, joining us for more details on this. Shalinder, there seems to be massive drama that unfolds there in Lahore.
Exactly. There was a high-voltage drama since last evening in Lahore, Zaman Park area, where Imran Khan resides. And we have seen bullets being fired upon the supporters of Imran Khan and the PTI workers over there who have been gathering since last evening. And immediately after the Lahore High Court said there should be ceasefire on the current situation. So all the police troops present on this scene at the Zaman Park, they pulled away, and they first went to the nearby Mall Road area, and from where they were, they left from that place. And we have seen celebration among the PTI supporters at the Zaman Park area. And also there'll be no action till tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And we believe that there's going to be another hearing on this case. So as of now, the situation has calmed down in Lahore, Pakistan. There's a bit of relief for Imran Khan, but we have to see whether this will continue or not, because we all know that whatever case is going on against Imran Khan, it's basically politically motivated. We have also seen in the case of Nawaz Sharif, the cases are politically motivated, and this is just a way of building up pressure on Imran Khan, and he has also
claimed that it's a part of the London policy,
Yes.
London plan, that the action is taken against him and his party.
Yes, let's wait and watch as to what happens and if Imran Khan comes out in response to this interim relief that he has gotten. But for the moment, Shalinder, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. Now, it's not just this, because crises are unfolding one after another for Pakistan. Unfortunately, it's an unending wheel, unfortunately, for the people of Pakistan. We all know how inflation is at an all-time high. There's unending economic and political and security crisis. There are attacks that we see that happen every now and then with the TTP, even targeting the army. The police and judiciary are struggling to arrest Imran Khan because even though he faces several cases, we've seen how despite weeks of drama, Imran Khan has not been arrested. His supporters have been clashing with the police in different parts. This time, and the latest one, is happening in Lahore outside Imran Khan's residence. We're given to understand that there is no military that's available for election duty. There are at least 2 provinces that go to elections in Pakistan. There's also the general elections that we are going to be seeing later this year. The president of the country has raised questions on the situation and the crisis as far as hunger, inflation and unemployment is concerned, because the Nawaz Sharif government has not been able to put an end to any of those, put any of those crises under control. The IMF also walked out on a deal, remember. They yet to sign that bailout plan with Pakistan because there were several lists of demands that were made. Unfortunately, there was no consensus that was built and the IMF walked out. Pakistani Prime Minister has warned of more burden on the already cash-strapped people of Pakistan. So there is massive crisis on all fronts. What is the solution? What next? And as far as Imran Khan is concerned, can he actually dodge the law? Because he faces about 50 to 60 cases, if not more. Joining me on this broadcast is former diplomat here in India, Ashok Sajanhar. Senior journalist from Pakistan, Hamid Khan, also joining me on this broadcast. And I'd like to get in Hamid Khan first and to find out what exactly is happening there and what happens next. Hamid Khan, where does Pakistan go from here? Economically, it's a big problem. Politically, we're seeing the crisis play out there, and there's political uncertainty as far as the elections go as well, because apparently there's no money for that. Security-wise as well, at least in some parts, we've seen protests, we've seen attacks that have happened, we've seen terror attacks claim lives. What happens to Pakistan next?
Thank you very much. Yes, there is no doubt that Pakistan is going through it's the toughest time after many, many years. And there are a lot of challenges which Pakistan is facing at the moment. But I would say the main thing is that if the government and if the establishment and if all the stakeholders can decide on one thing, and that is political stability, I think they will be able to manage, or they will be able to come out of other crises as well. Because in every democracy, the political system's sustainability and stability is very important. If whatever we have seen yesterday outside Imran Khan's house, or whatever we have seen in last 2 weeks, sometime it was sanctions on the gathering of the people and other, restrictions imposed by the government. That is what people are more worried. And obviously, this is directly affecting the economical situation, while government is already trying to deal with IMF and friendly countries to get some help. But the government has to show more sense, and the government has to show more maturity to be able to bring the nation out of this trouble at the moment. And I'm a very strong believer that it's not that Pakistan is at the point where we cannot recover. Definitely, Pakistan will recover. Pakistan is at the point where we can recover. But it needs a will, and it needs the capability, and it needs the complete, support from all the aspects of political or establishment or all the stakeholders in the country. Because Pakistan is being, in this situation in past as well, where we had a very bad economical crisis, but the political system made it survive. And again, Pakistani nation is very resilient, and the resilience of the nation gives me a lot of hope that there will not be any further, catastrophe in terms of economical situation or political situation. Sure. But the government has to take some actions.
Sure, and why isn't the government doing so, Ashok Sajanhar? Do you think that the administration in Pakistan there is in a catch-22 situation? Because this definitely is going to, perhaps pave the way for Imran Khan to get the majority of the sympathy vote when elections do come around later this year.
Yeah,
No, you're very
definitely.
right, Poonam. You're very right. You know that at the moment, Imran Khan has considerable support as far as the people are concerned. We've seen that in recent elections. We've seen that also, you know, when Imran Khan himself contested, you know, on all the 10 seats and he won all the 10 seats there. So his popularity, particularly after he left the government, after he was literally thrown out of office, his popularity has increased and he's been able to bring large numbers of people on the streets to demonstrate and protest against the government. But, you know, my question here would be that if, you know, he's given a call for his supporters to come out and to resist the police who's coming to arrest him. Now, if, you know, all the people who were supporting him, if they had come out, there would have been huge numbers on the roads. But we've seen a few hundreds of supporters of Imran Khan who have come and who have, you know, been protesting against the police and against the government forces. You know, if Imran Khan is taken into custody and he's put behind bars, many other political leaders in Pakistan have met the same fate. We've seen Nawaz Sharif, we've seen Maryam Nawaz, she was also behind bars for quite some time. So if Imran Khan is put behind bars, I think it is a debatable point whether all the support that he's been able to get, you know, whether that support will stay with him. The other point that I would like to make, you know, to this comment that Mr. Hamid Khan was making, that, you know, we need all stakeholders, we need the political unity, but that has been nowhere visible. And political leadership, you know, that is in very short supply as far as Pakistan today is concerned. I think neither Imran Khan nor Shehbaz Sharif, neither of them have that sort of image or persona or gravitas that they will be able to lead the country. And the other point also is, you know, in the past, we've seen that the army has always played a very important role, a very significant role. The army has not been, you know, its stand, its position has not come under question. That is not the case now. As far as Imran Khan is concerned, he has been raising such a large number of questions against the integrity of the army, against the integrity of the judiciary. And he
was once a poster boy of the army. That's what is interesting, isn't it? He has from poster boy to being a pain for the army and for the establishment. That's really has been the journey of Imran Khan. Sorry to interrupt you there, Ashok Sajanhar, but do stay on with me because we have some breaking news that's coming in. The Islamabad High Court, in fact, has now announced the verdict regarding the petition of Imran Khan for the suspension of his arrest warrant. They've ordered Imran Khan to reach to the trial court and submit his undertaking there. The High Court has ordered the trial court to proceed as per the law. That's the latest that we are gathering. Abhishek, my colleague, joining us for more details on this. Abhishek, what does this mean for Imran Khan? Does this buy him more time or not?
Purnima, it doesn't buy Imran Khan more time because 18th is the date till when he has to be present physically in the court. And for that, the arrest warrant is out and the police administration is very much in Zaman Park. But now we know that Islamabad High Court has also suspended the arrest warrant till tomorrow morning because of the law and order situation. Meanwhile, there is another remark. The High Court has said that whatever is happening in Lahore, PTI is directly responsible for that. So we know that Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan has a battery of lawyers who are trying to defend his pleas in front of judiciary. At the same time, the state is also backing up their evidences and their validity and their need to arrest Imran Khan and present him in the Toshkhana case. But the judgments are they keep coming, and every now and then we hear reports of Lahore High Court and Islamabad High Court taking some sort of stance. But there is no clarity as of now whether Imran Khan's arrest bail has been suspended for a long time or is just a temporary arrangement for like few hours till the further further verdict or further order will be passed by the court.
Right, at least for the next 12 hours, Imran Khan does have time. There is going to be no action that is taken. The cops have been pulled out from Lahore, but 18th is the date. As of now, 3 days from now, whether it's going to be jail time for Imran Khan or not, we'll have to wait and watch. For the moment, Abhishek, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. And I also thank Ashok Sajanhar and Mr. Khan for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective, because the drama is going to be unfolding in Pakistan and we here in India are going to be keeping a close watch. Before now, shifting focus to more news coming in, and this is about the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the tensions that have gripped the world for over a year now. In the latest, a United States Reaper drone and 2 Russian Sukhoi 27 aircraft were flying in international waters over the Black Sea when, according to the US military, one of the Russian jets flew in front of the drone. They dumped fuel on the unmanned drone and collided with it. This prompted the United States forces to bring down the MQ-9 drone in international waters. The collision took place shortly after 7 a.m. Central European Time, which is 11:30 a.m. India time yesterday. The incident marks the first time Russian and US military aircraft have come in close physical contact since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine over a year ago. Now, this is expected to increase tensions between the two nations. Take a look at what exactly transpired in that part of the world.
When you use weapon systems like the Reaper, you've got something that is really known for not only its weapons capability, but also as an intelligence collection platform, which is what it was most likely doing, because what it does is it takes signals intelligence and imagery intelligence, depending on the package that it has on board, and it correlates that data and sends it back where it can be processed by a command center. So when you look at the area that we've got around here, there's a lot going on, and the tensions, of course, given the fact that you've got systems going up in this area, you've got fighting all along here, and in the bigger map you have all of these different areas right in here. So anything that could happen here could clearly spill over into other areas. We use this area because it's international waters, and we take a look at everything that is going on in the southern part of Ukraine. And one of the key things is right here at the port of Odessa, we've got the grain shipments that are going through this area. And we want to make sure that the Russians aren't interfering with the grain shipments that are keeping Ukraine alive, basically. So that's one big thing. The other thing that we want to make sure is that nobody is sending arms into the Russian-controlled areas right here. And that becomes an important part as well. Plus, we also want to see what the Russians are doing in this part, Crimea, which they annexed back in 2014. So all of the things that are going on here with this, if it once it goes down, the intelligence collection stops, and then it becomes a situation where you're trying to get the pieces and parts that made up the Reaper and make sure that it doesn't fall into enemy hands. What you're looking at here is trying to pull it off, probably off of the floor of the Black Sea, which is pretty deep in some of these areas right off the Crimean coast.
What we saw, again, were fighter aircraft dumping fuel in front of this UAV and then getting so close to the aircraft that it actually damaged the propeller on the MQ-9. We assess that it likely caused some damage to the Russian aircraft as well. The Russian aircraft did land. I'm not going to go into where they landed. But again, it's just demonstrative of very unprofessional, unsafe airmanship on the part of these pilots. Because of the damage, we were in a position to have to essentially crash it into the Black Sea. To my knowledge, at this point in time, the Russians have not recovered that aircraft.
About this aerial unmanned vehicle, this drone can carry 1,700 kilos of explosives. This drone can carry a few bombs. You see that what will be reaction of United States if you see such Russian drone very close, for example, to San Francisco or New York? What will be reaction of United States? For me, it's clear. We don't want any confrontation between the United States and Russian Federation. We are in favor of pragmatic relations for the sake, for the interest of the people of the United States and Russian Federation.
Is the confrontation very directly now between systems from the US and Russia. This is quite the first direct clash that we've had between the two.
We are crossing over to CNN News 18's Foreign Affairs correspondent Abhishek Jha to get more on this. Abhishek, how could we likely see this matter escalate between the two nations?
So far it looks like the situation is pretty much under control because USA had acknowledged the fact that Russian planes were behind the drowning of US MQ-9 and unmanned aerial surveillance aircraft. At the same time, they have said that this reckless and professional move was being raised with the Russian authorities. Senior officials of USA will engage with the Russian side to know their sides of the story. So there is no sudden or abrupt escalation that is being promoted from the USA side, but we know that the situation is very serious in nature because of the heightened tension over Black Sea. We have seen the last 1 year various major skirmishes happening in Black Sea. In one of them, one of the largest naval assets, Moscow of Russia, was drowned. We know the Black Sea is currently being used for grain export from Russia and Ukraine to the other parts of the world. So these are the times when the world will also not like to see any escalation of tension over Black Sea because of various geopolitical and food crisis region. And we'll have to see from here onwards what explanation or what is the stand of Russia on the whole issue and how to see it further.
Also being joined by our guest, Mr. Pathikrit Payne, who is a security analyst. Mr. Payne, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. What we want to know is what your take is on this entire incident that's unfolding between the United States and Russia over the Black Sea.
First of all, the whole conflict that is going on between Ukraine and Russia, apart from the expansion of NATO, one of the key objectives has always been for Russia to control Black Sea. So whatever is happening now, dominance of the Black Sea is very important because that gives access to Russia to Mediterranean Sea. And number two, a very important point is this: the manner in which the Ukraine-Russia conflict has unfolded over the last 1 year, the manner in which the Western countries led by United States and Western Europe through NATO has been supplying weapons to Ukraine, the manner in which United States have been increasing its surveillance in the Black Sea and other areas, the manner in which U.S. weapon systems are being deployed by Ukraine. Someday or the other, these incidents would have happened. It was inevitable that someday such kind of clash would happen. I don't think it was an accident. It was a warning by Russia that if you cross the limits, there are Rubicons, which if you cross, then there will be consequences, there will be action, and this is the outcome. Now, when you have a Black Sea region where, United States literally has nothing to do in that region, when you have an MQ-9, unmanned vehicle, which has very strong surveillance capacities, and even they are armed to a great extent, when that kind of a thing is moving around in Black Sea in the vicinity of Russia, there would be reaction. Whether the reaction is justified or not, that's another issue. But I think United States would have reacted and would react the very same way if in the coastal areas of United States, Russian drones loiter around. So the reality is this: today, as things happen are unfolding in that region, and the manner in which West keeps on fueling the war, a situation might arise where the conflict would move beyond the contours of Ukraine and Russia and would have a spillover effect either on the seas or in the land area of other European countries, and it would be an apocalypse waiting to happen, which will be beyond the control of United States. So I think it's better they stop it right now, what is happening. Otherwise, 2023 will be a very bad affair when it comes to conflicts of the world.
A United States Reaper drone and 2 Russian Su-27 aircraft were flying in international waters over the Black Sea when, according to the United States military, one of the Russian jets flew in front of and dumped fuel on the unmanned drone. Now, the aircraft then reportedly hit the propeller of the drone, prompting U.S. forces to bring down the MQ-9 drone down in international waters, that is the Black Sea, remember. Now, the collision took place shortly after 7 a.m. Central European time on Tuesday, which is roughly 11:30 a.m. India time. Now, the incident marks the first time that Russian and U.S. military aircraft have come into direct physical contact since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine just over a year ago, and is likely to increase tensions between the two nations.
What we saw again were fighter aircraft dumping fuel in front of this UAV and then getting so close to the aircraft that it actually damaged the propeller on the MQ-9. We assess that it likely caused some damage to the Russian aircraft as well. The Russian aircraft did land. I'm not going to go into where they landed. But again, it's just demonstrative of very unprofessional, unsafe airmanship on the part of these pilots. Because of the damage, we were in a position to have to essentially crash it into the Black Sea. To my knowledge, at this point in time, the Russians have not recovered that aircraft.
About this aerial unmanned vehicle, this drone can carry 1,700 kilos of explosives. This drone can carry a few bombs. You see that what will be reaction of United States if you see such Russian drone very close, for example, to San Francisco or New York? What will be reaction of United States? For me, it's clear. We don't want any confrontation between the United States and Russian Federation. We are in favor of pragmatic relations for the sake, for the interest of the people of the United States and Russian Federation.
The president was briefed by the National Security Advisor about this incident earlier this morning. It is not uncommon, Amr, for there to be intercepts by Russian aircraft of U.S. aircraft over the Black Sea. So this is not an uncommon occurrence. And there have been, even in just in recent weeks, there have been other intercepts. But this one,
welcome back. We have some breaking news coming in from Kerala now, where 2 BJP workers were attacked in the Palakkad district. We're given to understand that there's a political war of words that is now breaking out because the BJP has alleged that there is a CPIM hand behind the attack on these 2 BJP workers. In fact, MOS External Affairs has now waded in the controversy. He has spoken out. He says that this is an assault on democracy and freedom of expression, going on to lash out at the CPM and the left government in Kerala. Listen in.
See, in Kerala, the attack on the 2 BJP workers in Palakkad, it's an assault on democracy. It's an assault on the right of expression, freedom of expression, on the democratic principles. And CPM, which raises a hue and cry and which claims that they are for freedom of expression, they deny to BJP workers, RSS workers in the state where they are in power.
Neetu, my colleague, joining us for more details on this. Now, as far as Kerala goes and political violence goes, the state is not new to it. In fact, attacks by the BJP allegedly against left members and vice versa is something that's been in the news for quite a while now. But as far as this particular instance goes, what more details can you share with us, Neetu?
See, this was an incident which happened last night in Palakkad district. Vishnu and Dinesh were the 2 BJP RSS workers. According to what the BJP is alleging is that it's a group of CPIM workers who attacked Vishnu at his house. And when his mother tried to intervene, even she was attacked. And this Dinesh, who's also a BJP RSS worker, was their neighbor. All 3 of them have been admitted to the Taluk hospital there. Police have registered a case in this regard. The investigation is ongoing, is what the police has said.
Right, so the investigation is on in that, but we have heard the allegations that have come to the fore from the BJP. They definitely claim that there is a CPIM link that is there in this particular case. Has the left come out and responded, Neetu? Neetu, if you can hear me. We'll try and reconnect that line with my colleague who's getting us the details of what exactly is transpiring there in Palakkad. But these are visuals on your screens of the 3 people that have been injured. The political war of words there continues and we'll keep a close watch. But for now, that's a wrap from my side. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta.
It's been an interesting day of opposition politics and protests in the national capital today. Not only did opposition parties stall proceedings of parliament demanding a JPC on the Adani issue, they even staged a protest march till the ED office. This march was led by the Congress, who along with other parties wrote a letter to the Enforcement Directorate demanding probe into the Adani Hindenburg report. 18 opposition parties have written and are signatories to this letter. KCR's BRS, that has national ambitions of its own, were not part of the march led by the Congress but were signatories to the letter. Interestingly, TMC and NCP also did not join forces with this march today. But with some show of strength, even if on separate issues and slightly differently, the opposition has managed to take the heat off Rahul Gandhi, who was being lambasted by the BJP for defaming India overseas and asking for foreign intervention. Many opposition parties have not really come to Rahul's defense. In fact, some have expressed the view that such statements criticizing Indian democracy should not be made in foreign land, but they are definitely on board in cornering the government on issues, even if those issues don't always match. The larger question also is, the proceedings in both houses of parliament were disrupted for a third straight day. Since the resumption of the budget